Hello there folks, Martin Pavey here. Welcome back to the channel. Same spot, slightly different view. The lovely farm buildings in the background and this lovely wall and the brook. Today we're going to be talking about, it's going to be slightly different sort of angle from my blog post this morning about admitting your faults. Before we do that, please do like and subscribe and share to spread this very important message. And I'm actually really thrilled because I got a notification of my 29th follower yesterday, and when I woke up this morning to come back and check the channel to see who it was, and thank you very much for following, I realized I just jumped up again to 31, so 30 subscribers. And I know it's not 10,000, it's not 50 or 100 or a million, but to me it's really, really important, because even if it's a bot, it's somebody who thinks, yeah, this guy, he's got something, and I have got something. Because it is important to relinquish the ego, to admit when you've fallen short of your potential. But my parents have been here for the last, we'll call it a week, nearly a week, and I had a really, really blissful, beautiful time. But each and every single one of us, whether they're your friend or your colleague or your parent or your grandparent, whoever it is, we're all human beings. And I've always had a gift, and I think it's set me apart from the vast majority of people. I've always had a gift of just being able to observe people's behavior and to know not necessarily what their motivations are, but know how they're going to react and behave in particular situations. And this is going to sound really narcissistic. It's going to sound really big-headed, but I know that one of my big mistakes has always been rising or falling, frankly, to the behavior of others, to try and please other people, to try and placate them, to try and make people happy, to make them feel comfortable. But the biggest fault is it's always been at my own expense, and I'm not alone in this. We all do it to a certain extent. I think I've done it a lot, a huge amount, far more so than most, in order to keep the peace. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work, because by trying to make the peace with other people, you always end up dealing with the trauma of it alone. And that's what I realize, that it's a struggle. I will admit it's a huge struggle for people to come into my space, because they're always incredibly critical. They never relax. They're always looking for problems. And again, my family, my friends, my colleagues, they're not alone in this. They're not alone in this. This is a widespread problem. It's probably the biggest problem in the world. It's why it's so important to say no. It's why it's important to lay the ground rules, to understand what is yours, what's other people's, and when people come into your space, learn fundamentally 100% to tell those people what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable, because nobody else will do it. Everybody wants something and they will take advantage of it. It's who we are. It sounds incredibly cynical, but people want what they want, and why not? But if you live a life of passivity, of being a bottom bitch for people, they will walk over you, and they'll be shocked and they'll be surprised at you saying no. But it's really, really important to do it. But I know that there are certain situations where this is a big fault, where I know that I could remain calmer and say, okay, yeah, that's fine. But when the dust has settled, Because don't let people rush you into decisions. Don't let people decide for you. Don't do it. Decide for yourself. I know that I need time to absorb all of this stuff. But when I reflect on it, I know that the righteous decision for me is to say, okay, we as a group, as a collective, we have to decide how this is going to work, where all of us can win. Now, I think that particularly with my family, I know that will work. It will be uncomfortable. It'll be uncomfortable for me to say it, and it will be uncomfortable for them to deal with it. But do it anyway. Because there was a certain something that happened, tiny thing, but I was really nervous about saying, oh, well, you got me this thing, it didn't work, and I got rid of it. And I texted my dad in the morning about it, and I was really nervous, but I was really glad that I did, because it enabled me to actually define a boundary. And you have to define boundaries, otherwise you'll just be invaded. Because people will keep going and going and going, because nobody, no matter how empathic you are, nobody will understand your life. They won't, and they can't, and they don't need to. Courage, confidence, and consistency comes when you know what you want and you inform the important people in your life of that. And that is the deciding line. That's the dividing line between who you have in your life and who you don't. And you have to stick to it. You have to stick to it. Because otherwise, you are always going to be a visitor in your life rather than the leader of your life. And that's what I want for you. And believe me, it's not easy. It's not. People think it's so easy, and people have criticized me. Oh, but the thing is, Martin, you grew up in this big house and your parents had money, and no. No. It's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. It's about respect. It's about dignity. It's about reasonable behavior. And if you're not getting it, it's your decision, and it's your right to be respected for what you want, because everybody else, notice this. Please, 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 God, notice this. Notice how indignant people are when you ask for them to respect you, and how they won't do it. But notice how they always expect it themselves. It has got to be reciprocal. It has got to be both ways. If they want to be respected, then they have to respect you. It's a rule. It's a complete fundamental rule of healthy human relationships, that if there isn't mutual respect, no. Don't make your failing that you always subjugate yourself to other people's needs over your own, because you deserve them. So thank you very much. Please do like and subscribe and share to spread this very important message, because the whole world needs to hear it. War is a lack of respect of boundaries. That's all it is. Because people don't. And if you can stop the war in your own life, you have no idea how capable and powerful you are, and you have no idea what you can achieve when you start to live your own life. God bless you, and thank you very much for listening. I will see you on the next video. Ciao for now.